Wait, are we live currently?
Yeah.
But there you have it, PGA Nation. We are back. I apologize for the fumble. Wasn't sure if we were live, but we are. It's official. We are drafting again, and we have a big week ahead of us. The Open Championship. I love the Open Championship. My main reasoning, which might make me a bit of an addict, but I love the fact that you wake up in the morning and we're already mid-round when we wake up here in the United States, and you can just start going midway through the golf course, watching everything go down. So that's my favorite part about the Open. Very exciting week. Before we fully dive into it, quick recap of last week. It was a really exciting tournament last week. We had two more advance to get this Golf Madness tournament going. And then for this week, we brought in some of the really big hitters. This is going to be one of the most loaded drafts that we're bringing you in the tournament. Spence, I'm excited. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. You know, it's kind of funny, Joel. I feel like this entire show and us as a brand and the audience included and anybody who's ever been associated with this show who has co-hosted with us, all of us are gone. We all got eliminated. I think we've all been asleep at the wheel during this contest from the very start of it. We do have a big four group here. Two are going to advance, as you said. I'm excited to see, we only have two more rounds until the Sweet 16 is going to start. Farnsworth did get the number one seed in this contest. I told him this very early on. I see him shaking his head right now, whatever that means with it, but this is a loaded group from start to finish. I don't know what AI was putting on this. I told everybody at the beginning, all I did was put in the 36 names of everybody that was competing. I had AI spit out a bracket and seating for every single person. You know, Derek, your wins that you have in DFS, they carry a lot of weight on AI. I will say that. So it's one of those things to where everybody, though, is going to have a shot. This is not simple. Joel, you and I have talked about this from the start. I'd be curious to hear your guys' opinion. It can be just as simple as a very quick answer on this. 36 people in this contest. Joel and I have given answers in the past. What do you think the best odds would be for somebody to win this contest? It doesn't have to be who the favorite is. You don't have to say the name. But what do you think somebody's true win odds would be if we're talking about whoever the favorite should have been? We'll start with you, Derek, since you are the number one seed in this.
I mean, yeah, AI is great. You should never trust it fully. So, it doesn't have the recent form baked in. I got a lot of wins in the past, but, recent form, not as good. But, no, I'd probably maybe say the favorite's 4 to 5%. You got to think everyone's got a pretty even chance, especially since you're getting one draft, one tournament. Volatility is going to be pretty high. So I would say, 4 to 5%.
That's the number that I said also on it. Do the three of you have a different opinion on that?
I think it's a pretty good number. But
I think
of course, Derek's going to roll up here and be super humble. It's totally his style. Flags fly forever, Derek. So it might have been longer than you want it to have been, but they're still flying, buddy.
Well, Brad said before the show that forget 4%, he should be 50%. I just think he's over.
Get out of here.
No, I can't say that. Listen, all I want to do is put up a little bit of a chance, right? Just want to go out swinging.
Yeah, literally, I'm just here for. I'm like Michael Kim, bro. I'm just here for the vibes and the jokes, and hoping I have a decent shot to make it past at least the first couple of rounds.
Well, I will say this about you, Charlie. You are the only person of the group of any of us on this show, granted it was through the play-in game, that has actually experienced what it feels like to win one of the games at this point. So I don't know. You might have something in your back pocket there that you'll be able to pull out today. And Joel and I have said it from the very start. The person that is the most negative, which you and Derek at this point are very close with one another, is usually the one that has advanced.
Listen, I mean, I did get the face adversity, and I did have my top guns all crap out in that play-in, but my young guys, the long shots all came through. So I'm excited to get it going again here.
All right. Well, we do have a draft ahead of us tonight. Before we bring up the board, we're going to spin the wheel to determine the draft order. So as Spencer gets up, as a quick reminder of what's going on tonight, if you're tuned in, be sure to follow along on X or on YouTube and get in the chat. If you have any questions or comments on the drafts we want us to address, put them in the chat. We'll be sure to address anything and everything we see. You can ask the experts. You can ask us whatever you want to know for this week. For the draft itself, it's a 4-man snake draft. So it's like your typical fantasy football draft. You go 1 through 4 and then 4 through 1 in the second round till we get 6-man rosters. The one caveat to our show and our draft is that you can't just take all the best golfers. Each person does need to actually be able to afford their lineup on DraftKings. So you have to draft knowing that you have to be able to get value plays, cheaper plays, more expensive plays, and actually be able to play the lineup. So because of that, not always people want the first pick. Sometimes people prefer to pick fourth. So that's why we spin the wheel. We spin the wheel. Whoever it lands on can decide what spot they want to draft from. So Spence, go ahead, spin the wheel. And while we wait for it to land on someone, I'll start with you, Brad. If it lands on you in an ideal scenario,
there it is.
Every time it lands
this is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this before.
Well, Brad, you can just tell us the answer. Where do you want to start?
I will go last.
All right. Brad is choosing to go in the 4 spot. All right, Spence, spin it again.
Before I spin this, we are legitimately 7 drafts into this, I believe, and the first person who has been asked is 7 for 7 on getting the wheel spin. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I wish I could put some money on that.
Looks like it's going to be Ryan.
I'll take second last.
Wow, nobody wants the first pick here. This should be telling. I wonder how the draft will actually go. All right, Charlie, we'll go to you. We'll spin it, Charlie. If it does land on you, where are you hoping to pick?
I'll take first.
All right, I like that.
There you go. Every single time. It's just a.
I'll happily take one. At least I can get one of my guys.
All right, no. You were the favorite going into the tournament, and you got the last choice here, picking in the 2 slot. Do you find that gives you a disadvantage, or are you happy to pick in any position?
I was going to say, even if I had the first choice, I was going to pick number 2 because there's 2 guys that I like. Want to get one of those 2 first. So, happy with where I'm at, and excited to get going.
Landed on last and still got the draft position that he wanted. So there you go. Charlie, you got the first pick. It's what you wanted. Without further ado, you are on the clock.
Yeah, I'm not even going to need to waste time here. I'm going to go Hatton. I hope he's one of Derek's 2 that he wanted. The links master himself, great form, 16th at the Open and 2nd at St. Andrews last year on the links courses. This past year was 20th on the Genesis, and that's with a triple bogey on the first hole of the entire weekend. Still ended up getting a T20 there. I just love his form, love him on links courses, and he's cheap, 8,900. So I'm happy to start there.
A value play off the board. Do you have any concerns by his performance last week heading into this week?
No, I mean, last week he blew up on the first hole and still squeaked the top 20. So if anything, it makes me feel more confident that he was the guy who normally blows up and yells all over the golf course was able to still get a top 20. I'm fairly confident that he'll get another top 20 this week and potentially even do some damage. And I think he's, great value at his outright price for even to win.
8,900, Tyrell Hatton off the board. No, I saw you made a face. Was Hatton one of the 2 guys that you were hoping to get with your first pick?
Yeah, he's my favorite outright of the week. So, this is a win-win. If he wins, I'm happy. If he doesn't, maybe it'll help me in this draft. So, yeah, I'm definitely on board with the Hatton pick. Links specialist. Love that pick for sure.
Well, you said you had 2 guys pinned down here. So, one of them was Hatton. He's gone. Who was the other? And is he going to be the pick?
All right, I'm going to go with Fitzpatrick. I'm going with Matt. I might save Alex for later. But, so let's start with Matt Fitzpatrick. Dude's just been so consistent all year. 3 top 5s in his last 4 starts, 3rd last week. And, seems like a great course fit for him. Good short game, accurate off the tee, good iron player, good putter. So I'm going to go Matty Fitz. And I'm interested to see how long Scheffler is on the board. I can't wait for this one.
I would say I know you have great models, and everyone who follows you, follows all of your content, is following kind of all of your rankings. In terms of raw projections, let's take price aside. So forget the number, just raw projections for golfers on this golf course. Is Matt Fitzpatrick at the top, or is he just your number one with price included?
He's not my number one price included, but he's my favorite above like 10K. So Scheffler's like miles ahead of the field still. Just doesn't project well at the price for me.
That makes sense. All right. Matt Fitzpatrick off the board. Ryan, you wanted the third spot. You got it. Hatton and Fitzpatrick off the board. You can have anyone else that you want. How you kicking off your draft?
Stay on brands. It does not take a lot for me to be enticed by Russell Henley, and he is a massive cost savings at $7,700. So start there and feel like I could pretty much do a lot of whatever I want later as the draft kind of falls. So just just doesn't play himself out of events. Keeps bogeys off the card. We got back-to-back top 10 finishes the last 2 Open Championships. We talk about firm and fast and maybe distance not mattering. He's just going to keep himself in play off the tee, and then, we'll figure out the rest from there this week. But it seems like kind of a non-starter if you can't keep yourself in play. So love the price. Feels egregious for him to be short of 8K and north of 50 in the outright market. So I'll take Henley here at 77.
A nice, safe value play off the board early. That certainly seems like a really great course fit over the last few years. Done great at Opens. And that's some good veteran king of the draft strategy. Go with a value play early. Get the value that you like. You still have time to draft some of the higher end guys as the draft goes on. All right, Brad, you wanted to be in the 4 slot. You got it. You got now 2 back-to-back picks here.
Wow.
How are you going to kick off your draft?
Back-to-back's nice. I wanted to be second at first, and I was going to for sure take Matt Fitzpatrick, and I was like, maybe if I skip on Fitzpatrick, I can just kind of rack up in this 8 high 7s real quick and then get my guy in the 6s and try to kind of build from there. I'm just going to start with Mr. Colin Morikawa at, was he 8,700, somewhere around there? Listen, Colin is, I hate to say this because he was my favorite outright at TPC, and we all saw what happened there, but we know he's going to play out of the fairway. We know he is going to play link style golf really well, and I do believe that Colin's not going to get into this last Open where he kind of got screwed around the greens and screwed with bad bounces. I'm really liking his game. I don't really care too much about the I'm not 100% BS, because we saw him at Augusta, we saw him at Travelers, right? Like, for a guy who's not 100%, like, he's playing really good golf. Oh, I can throw again.
Yeah, right. I agree. Morikawa is a great value. I feel like they underpriced him here at 8,700. So I love that pick. But you got one more.
I got one more. Man, I'm going to go with Chris Gotterup here at this pick. I just feel like Gotterup's just playing so freaking nice. And you see his win pedigree, right? Like, the dude's playing well in wind. Played well last week. And, actually, I'm really glad. This is going to sound really dumb because I wanted to bet him to win Genesis. He wins the week before. But I'm glad he had that little off round to kind of reset him in the 4th round, because this is what you want, right? You want a major championship. You can win as many times on tour, but most people only remember the majors. And so I think it's going to kind of reset him, and he's going to have some of those spike rounds like he's so famous for now, like Gotterup at his price.
I love the way Gotterup's playing. And the one thing, like, some people are saying they don't love Gotterup as a course fit this week. I think that's a little bit overblown. I mean, they kind of say that at some of these courses, but then again, you never see a leaderboard. The way Gotterup's playing in his current form, I think he's going to go out there and have a great week. So I'm with you. I think you had a great turn here. Spence, I'll toss it over to you here. What's your take on Morikawa and Gotterup?
Can I be heard right now? I know I've been kicked off the screen at this point.
I can hear you.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. So, first of all, I'm going to backtrack it to what Noto did, and we can move forward with it. But Fitzpatrick right now is the optimal in my model from a starting point of it. With the way we've started on this, I don't know if somebody's going to go to Scotty. This may be a slide that continues throughout the entire draft. I don't really want to influence the action with it, but Henley at 7,700, massively underpriced. I think anybody who runs a model is going to tell you that.
Yep.
One of the safer top 20 targets on the board. Colin Morikawa was the last name or the first name, whichever way you want to look at it, that ended up missing my outright card this week. A golfer that's going to find a lot of fairways, that we know about the prowess that he exudes from the approach play. I think this is a really strong start from all four teams. And as we push it over to you, Ryan, one of the reasons why I wanted to start this show, it comes down to the camaraderie that we have in the space. And there's a lot of great content creators. And for me, it was important that we could get everybody on one screen together in one tournament. And honestly, Joel and I were kind of had our backs against the wall trying to get this done. My goal is to double this, triple this, get however many people we can. There's hundreds of people in this space that are great. But before you give us your pick, tell us a little bit about what you have going on at BetSperts, because I know that just from experience of knowing you in the past and everything that you put together, it's very high end. It's really good, and it is a market mover at the end of the day of what you guys have going on. So for anybody who doesn't know what BetSperts is and what the rabbit hole is, tell the viewers about it.
Yeah, thanks, Spence. I mean, it's been a lot of fun just to basically wishcast what we would basically want, golf content and data site to be, and to have it come to fruition here over the last 5-6 years. I mean, I feel like we're, maybe in the last year or two on more people's radar, but we've been doing this in the back end for quite a while. Still not stopping. I can comfortably say I've been saying it, and I probably shouldn't have been saying it, but DP World Tour data is coming very, very soon. It is in the back end. We are chopping it up and getting it ready so that we can be equipped for weeks like this, where we have, mixed fields. We'll be able to handle the Scottish better, but we'll be able to handle that like fall swing season of great DP World Tour events. So just wanted to make it a site where we kind of blend data and content for people. So people don't want to do the work. We want to help you kind of teach you how to fish, but also just provide you with some fish. And then if you're just kind of a weirdo like all of us are, and you want to get into the nitty gritty, we want to make that there for you too. And, we really still are, if you're a member or subscriber, and get in the Discord, let us know what we don't have that you would love to have. Like if we have the data and we can figure out how to get in the rabbit hole, we will find it for you and make it happen. And we really want to be something that's really driven by our community. So appreciate the support, and anyone who's a subscriber. It's been a lot of fun to kind of build it from the ground up and watch it go.
Yeah, you guys are doing a great job with that and using that data. You started with Russell Henley. Who are you going to take at the 202 here?
Between a couple of guys, I know that neither of them are coming back to me, but I'm going to go with my guy, where the other one I think is probably more of a model play. But I'm going to take Victor Hovland, $8,300. Still pretty good cost savings. I don't want to say that we're like fully back to like summer 2023 ball striking for Vic, but using the rabbit hole, we have a floor ceiling model. If you look here, he's gained strokes ball striking at 87.5% of his rounds over the last 2 months. It is comfortably the best mark in the field. He is gained strokes putting 4 out of his 5 Open Championship starts. And then we also can look at around the green play, which is always kind of Vic's bugaboo. But when you split it out and look at his around the green proximity on short grass, significantly better than how he's been on the rough. And obviously we have a lot of shaved runoffs and short grass collection areas here on link style golf courses. So just a way better fit than I think people think. He's third most accurate driver in the field from a distance from the edge of the fairway standpoint when we're less than driver, which I think we see a lot of this week. So I think he's just striking the hell out of it. He's going to keep it in play. And again, if we can hold some putts, I think he's a great value at 8,300.
You're building a team here. If you can find another H for a last name, you can have that Triple H start, which Joel and I as wrestling fans always like to see with lineups. But all right, Derek, you started with Matthew Fitzpatrick at $10,000. You and I have been doing some shows together over the last month or so. We kind of always joke that we seem to be on a lot of the same players. You took Fitzpatrick, who I mentioned as one of my optimals. Who are you going to take with this next pick?
Yeah, you're probably going to like this one too. But before we get there, I build my own model, but I'm always in the rabbit hole each and every week looking at different splits. So shout out to Ryan and Ron Claus, who you guys stole from us, by the way. I tried to bring him on Roto Grinders a long time ago. We couldn't pay him what he was worth, and eventually you guys came along and
well, we had him first. We loaned him to you.
Okay, that's right. He was a 4 for 4 for best.
Yeah.
That's right.
You
guys do great work over there. I'm gonna go with the value route. Gonna go with Siwoo Kim. Not necessarily a true link specialist, but I mean, the dude's just way too cheap, accurate off the tee, good iron player, good around the green. Just have a decent week with the putter, and I think he's going to be fine. Top 10 last week at the Genesis Scottish, which I think is promising for his links future this week. So I'm going to go Siwoo, save some salary, go from there.
I mean, I don't think anybody who's ever heard me before knows that this Siwoo Kim answer, like this, we may be on a lot of similar picks, Derek, but I mean, look, everybody knows it's a Siwoo Kim thing with me every single week. It feels like he's the best price per dollar that I have in this entire field. A little bit of volatility. I think that's one of the things. I understand that there's sites out there like Data Golf that are pushing that he should be around minus 300 to make the cut. I don't know if he's necessarily that safe, but I love the upside metrics. I think he's a top 10 golfer in the world that doesn't get treated as such. He's somebody I'm going to have a ton of exposure to this week. So really like the Fitzpatrick and Siwoo Kim start for whatever it's worth. That is also one of the names that's in the optimal for me. But all right, Charlie, you started with Tyrrell Hatton, who I know that Noto talked about really liking. I also like Tyrrell Hatton this week. I have an outright on him. Took him at 40-1. You have two picks here at the 204 and the 301. Give us the first one to begin this.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I feel like this is where I'm going to deviate from everyone being like, oh, yeah, love these picks. Because I'm going to go with John Rahm here at 9,700. I know it's been less than stellar with the Scottish. He was T36 and then missed the cut at the U.S. Open. And there's so much about him and his game surrounding the PGA and all the live things. But if you look at his numbers, especially on live, they're insane. I'm going to just hope that he actually shows up and doesn't get in his head a little bit too much here. I just think that, given where he normally is priced, I'm going to take a stab at him under 10 grand. So that's my first pick.
Yeah, I think it's a rebate from what we've seen throughout all the other majors. Get him into the 9,000 during this go around. Who are you going to take with the next pick?
Yeah. And the other one is a toxic trade of mine that I can't seem to escape ever. And that's Joaquin Neiman down at 7,300 as my 7,000 play. I think I bet him every single major tournament, and every single time I usually lose a lot of money on him. Though last time he was able to get the top 10 at the US Open, even with that +7. And I am fairly confident that the way he was playing, he would have won that tournament if he'd not had that one blow up hole. But I mean, everyone talks about how talented he is, how dominant he is on the LIV Tour. That's not a secret. He's starting to play a lot better on the PGA events. So especially, and the DP World Tour too, he's been great. So I'm willing to take him at 7,300, even if it's, a PGA crossover.
Charlie building the live monster for this draft. Just a complete monster live lineup. Wish it could work out. I kind of like what you're doing there, but you are certainly the live man for this draft. Derek, I see you also have a drum set behind you. Is that correct, or am I misseeing it?
I mean, this is my son's room. Our basement's under construction, so they put me wherever I can be to. Not
so you're not the drummer. It's your son.
I wish I was musically inclined, but I am not, unfortunately.
I was going to challenge you to pick up the sticks right now and give us a little number, but I will spare you that. I am going to need a pick, though. You got Fitzpatrick and Siwoo Kim. Where are you going with your third pick here?
Yeah, if Charlie ends up picking Bryson, then we know he's got an agenda.
I got more in my sleeve.
All right, I'm going to go some good options here. I'm going to go Tommy Fleetwood. I just think he's one of the safer guys on the board. He does spend a good chunk of my salary, but man, grew up right next to the course, link specialist. He's always a guy he's not going to be in the mix, but he's going to finish top 10. That's just what Tommy does. Backdoor top 10 is going to be fine with me this week.
So I assume your answer is it helps him, but my question is, do you think him growing up in the area, obviously being like a home event for him, do you think that's helpful, or is it hurtful that he's going to almost have a little bit more expectation, more eyes on him, probably a little bit more media responsibility? Overall, do you think that's something that plays to his advantage or disadvantage this week?
I never know. It's like the guys that are on the playoff bubble that have to play well to get into the FedEx Cup, and it's like, okay, does extra pressure help you? Like, I've never experienced that in golf. You're more motivated, but you're also more pressure on you. So I don't know. His familiarity with links and all that is really what matters to me.
I would even say, like, because of Fleetwood, most guys know, because Fleetwood is like, you can live into the narrative a little bit because obviously he struggles to win, that maybe it takes him going home to the home course, having the friends and family around to catapult him over the top to getting that win over the finish line, winning his first major. Could be. It would be at least be a good narrative and storyline if that were.
Really quickly before we move on, bold take. I'm going to say Tommy Fleetwood wins this week. We'll leave it there. We'll move it to Ryan's pick, but that's my bold take this week.
Okay.
Did you bet it?
I wish you luck.
Yes. Yeah.
You bet it, Spence?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Wow. What number did you get on it?
21-1.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
I like it. All right.
What a great price.
Well, Ryan, question for you before we go to your pick. Too broad of a question, but I'll ask it anyway. What does the rabbit hole think about Tommy Fleetwood this week?
He's third in my model. I like him quite a bit. I found the 15s or so to be quite untenable, but for this game, like Notre doesn't need him to win, and then Spence is beating the market, so that's half the game, right? Is beating the market, especially in the outright game, knowing that there's already us over the coals a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I get the home field narrative. To be a great story. It'd be, I think, one of the things that we would all really rally around. It'd be amazing to see Tommy cross the finish line here. I'm sure it'd be just theatrics, especially with like England in the World Cup. If that happens to culminate on Sunday too, and something happened there, it'd be bonkers over there. I can't even imagine.
Well, the good news and bad news is, bad news, he's gone, so you can't have him. But the good news is you're up with your third pick, $8,500 to spend. Where are you going with your next pick?
The good news is that for the fine people of England, they still maybe get to celebrate, maybe some good football stuff. But then we're going to cross the line with another Englishman, one who has just as good of a narrative, and we're going to go with Justin Rose here. I love the spot for Rosie. Big game hunter. This guy literally just shows up at the big events and contends. We got, Augusta T3, Aronimink T10, T11 at Shinnecock. He's also very much in the mix of the Players, the Memorial, Riv, which I would probably consider the top 3 signature events that we play at. Basically just bright lights. Rosie shows up and puts his best golf out there for us. And this is another guy that's talked about a fairy tale and a love story with this place, considering that he kind of broke out here at 17 back in 1998 when he holed out on the 72nd hole. So that's a guy that I think if the pressure comes on Sunday, I think he's going to be able to meet the moment. So love Rosie. Don't love the price necessarily in DFS, but just kind of a guy that I feel like I got some value elsewhere, and I'm just going to click one of my guys this week.
Rose 9,100 off the board. Definitely someone that tends to play up in these bigger tournaments, these bigger spots. Certainly does seem like it could be one of those weeks again for him.
I'm pretty sure all 3 of my guys are playing together on Thursday and Friday.
Are they really?
I'm gonna wake up 3:30 on Thursday morning to make sure things are going well. Hopefully the vibes just
You're getting good team chemistry. Yeah, you got them all together. That's good. That's smart.
I think Kyle Murray did the same exact thing, and his players ended up advancing from it. He's into the Sweet 16, so there's some good vibes with that.
That's exciting.
Brad, you're up next here. You have 2 again, but before we dive into yours, Brad, I follow your soccer picks as well. So Brad is great with golf if you follow me. He's also been giving a ton of winners for the World Cup. If you follow Brad, follow him, get his picks. You will be making more money. So my question for you is, big game today. Spain won, France eliminated. There's 3 teams technically left that could win. Who are you picking right now to win the whole World Cup?
Spain. For me, it was pretty easy. Whoever was going to win the France versus Spain match was going to win. That was the clash of the Titans, and Spain looked organized. They didn't make mistakes, and I thought their midfield played incredible. They dropped Pedri and put in Fabian Ruiz, and it was a blend of perfection and physicality.
All right. Well, Spain is your pick. Unfortunately, well, it's not necessary. I'm not sure. Are there any more? I think there are. You can still take a Spaniard in the golf tournament if you can't take Rom because he's gone. But you got 2 here. So where are you going with your next 2 picks?
I'm not going the Spanish route right now. All right, listen. I'm gonna go with first one. I'm gonna go with Bobby Mack, Robert McIntyre. Game's in really good shape right now, right? Like T15 at RBC, T10 at Travelers, and obviously played well at Genesis had to share the lead at one point. His driving accuracy number is pretty good, and you guys know he plays links golf really good, really well. Next guy I'm going with, man, I know I'm gonna regret this, but like I just feel like price is really palatable. Tom Kim, and this gives me some room to go bigger later with Tom Kim. Like, I think he's gonna win back to back, especially a major after going 1,000 days without winning or something crazy like that. No, but Tom Kim plays well on link style golf courses. Another guy. My theme of golfers outside of Goddard is just guys who are going to hit fairways, right? If Tom Kim continues to like just blister the ball, I think he's going to see more wins in the future, like in a shorter span than he did between wins, between winning the Genesis as well. So 6,800 feels like a value play where I can kind of load up later.
It's the first draft that we've done where there has been a noticeable separation in salary of what's left through 3 rounds. I feel like every draft, Joel, we find ourselves everybody kind of within $100 of each other. And while Ryan and Charlie are going to be within 300, Noto's down to 75, Brad's all the way up to 9,000. Like this is an interesting draft. I think you're seeing a lot of unique outlooks that have occurred here. And as I push this to you, Ryan, you know, we could talk about the McIntyre and Tom Kim picks. They're off the board now. Were either one of those 2 names in your player pool that you were hoping to grab here? And if not, who are you going to select with the pick?
Yeah, I thought Bobby Mack would come off maybe a little bit earlier, and I kind of danced around him a couple times. So I thought that was a good slide. I would have scooped out Bobby Mack here on the comeback. And, you know, I think Tom Kim at 68 is a nice spot for Brad and frees him up for a little bit moving forward. It's going to be tough to see if anyone can fit in. I mean, Rory and Scotty are really tough. Scotty in particular are going to be really hard for anyone to jam in at this point, unless people like some serious punts. So again, I don't want to influence anybody, but it's, you know, kind of doing the math here. It gets a little dicey quickly trying to add one of the big dogs in there. So definitely interesting to see how it kind of plays out here moving forward. All right, for me here, I'm going to do another saver. I'm going to go with P. Give me Patrick Reed, 7K. Look, I mean, just he's got it all for this type of place. You know, just he's got a little bit of that Spieth, you know, strokes gained, magic beans, stuff that can happen. He can get up and down and kind of figure it out, and the putter gets hot. I thought he was looking like a really nice fit for Shinnecock for a little while, and then kind of ejected a little bit late in that second round. But look, sprayed a little bit off the tee last week. It's in Scotland. I think he, you know, clubs down a little bit, finds some more fairways and stripes it here. So I like Patrick Reed, another guy who I think can meet the moment, and 7K is a nice little price.
Noto, I know that's a name. I saw you tweet about it before the show went live, which, you know, you post the results out there and you're a public figure, and you know, sometimes picks do not get back to you at the end of the day when you expose your hand with it. You can't turn the cards face up with it. But I know Patrick Reed was somebody that you bet in the outright market. What are the reasons why you have him in the outright market? I guess talk about that a little bit, and then we'll get to your pick.
Yeah, I love the pick. I was debating between some Patricks, and that's the one I wanted. So unfortunately, he's off the board. But yeah, he's a big game hunter. You know, always plays well in the majors. Already has 2 top 15s in 2 of the 3 majors this year. His history at the Open Championship is a little spotty the last 5 years or so, but he's just a grinder, man. Elite short game. I think the course is really going to set up well for him.
If there's a Patrick that's on your mind, I am going to assume it's Patrick Cantlay then potentially. Can I put that in like a very strong pencil here as you tell us your pick?
Here's the thing. All the models love Patrick Cantlay. He never treats me right. I'm not going to go with him. I was going to. I'm pivoting. I'm going to go Alex Fitzpatrick. I'm going to go with the Fitzpatrick Bros. Look, if you look at his approach play, he's been almost as good as anybody this year. Good drive percentage, really up there too. So I know he missed the cut last week, but for whatever reason, that course just has his number. He's 0 for 3 at the Genesis Scottish Open throughout his career. Outside of that, he's been great. He's won twice if you include the team win. He's got a bunch of top 20s so far this year. And in his one appearance at the Open, he finished T17. So I like him at 74.
When you said you were debating Patrick's, does that count Matt and Alex Fitzpatrick or only first name only?
I was debating the Patricks. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I was debating Cantlay and Reed, but I also have both the Patricks, the Fitzes. So, Yeah, all kinds of Patricks.
Rounding it out. And then the guy from SpongeBob 2 was probably on your final list, that Patrick. So I get it. It's a rounded Patrick squad here. But Ewing is not going to be chosen in this draft. That is for sure. Alex Fitzpatrick and Matt Fitzpatrick, I have a question for you. And I'm talking GPPs for this week. I find it, and I do it myself personally too, it's just kind of natural feel when you're kind of building a lineup. It just feels good to kind of pair their brothers together. It's like, oh, they'll succeed together because they're brothers, and we'll play them both in the lineup. I feel like more people do that. Like I do it, and it's like, oh, I'm going to play them together. You just did it here where you kind of paired them together in this lineup. Do you think, am I crazy for thinking that and saying that, or do you think people tend to pair them together, especially when they're playing GPPs and there's a ton of lineups in the tournament?
Yeah, the Fitzpatricks and the Hoygards, maybe they get like a 0.5% usage or 0.5% ownership boost being brothers, because you don't want to pick the wrong one, right? Especially the Hoygards, because they're usually pretty equal in talent. It's like, I don't want to pick Rasmus if Nikolai is going to play well, so I'll play both or bet both. So you might be onto something.
But I think what's different now is that never are Rasmus and Nikolai as popular as Matt and Alex have been the last couple of weeks. I mean, they're both playing like top 20 golfers in the world. Matt even better than that, but they're just playing great. So right now they are two of the top names on the tour.
I mean, there's probably a reason at the end of the day why Noto's still in this contest and is competing, and I am not. I had a decision at the Travelers, and I went the wrong route with taking Patrick Cantlay, who imploded on Sunday to ruin my lineup. And I left Alex Fitzpatrick sitting on the board as a top 12 player in my model. It was a very disappointing output. And I think like I don't necessarily have that same whatever word we want to call it to be able to leave Patrick Cantlay on the sidelines. I always fall for the trap at the end of the day. Be interesting to see if somebody does take him after all the negative words that we have kind of all talked about him at this point. I think he's a good play, but then again, I think he's a good play every single week, and I don't know if anybody should listen to what I have to say for that. But all right, Charlie, you've started with the Live Brigade with what you have. Before you give us your pick, tell everybody what you have going on right now in your world. Some of my favorite shows that I've ever been a part of is when we were at Action Network together. I used to love filming with you and doing a lot of those breakdowns for bets, but let everybody know what you have going on.
Yeah, I appreciate the kind words. I'm still trying to get back into the space altogether, but I am freelancing still I'm actually back at Action Network, and then posting all my home run picks on Twitter. I've been kind of diving deep into the baseball side of things. Hit a huge July 4th 3-leg, which was fun. But which was a great end to the holiday. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at DiSturco. Otherwise, I'm at Action Network doing freelance for baseball, and I watch golf every single week, bet golf every single week. I'm also in that same boat as you, Spencer, not to just transition into it, but I take Patrick Cantlay every week, and I'm going to take him here. I was between Patrick Reed and Patrick Cantlay as well. I wanted Reed, but the Live guys don't want him after he left, and that's why Ryan ended up taking him, I think. But so Cantlay, obviously just the price, I have to take him. I just think 7,000 is a little too cheap. And then on the wraparound, I'm going to go with probably was the most hated guy. I feel like people have kind of come around on him on the PGA, but Wyndham Clark at 8,200. He was top 4 at the Open last year at Portrush. He was 11th at the Scottish, 13th or 11th last year, 13th so he just plays well in links golf. He's in incredible form. Obviously, we just saw him dominate the last few weeks in particular. So I'm happy to back a guy that has had success on links courses, that just had success last week, which we've seen a strong correlation with. And at 8,200, I'll go with Clark.
I'm surprised that Clark lasted to the 5th round. At the way he's been playing over the last couple of months, and at 8,200 only, I thought he would have gone off a little bit earlier. Could be a sneaky steal here in the 5th round. Wyndham Clark. All right, Derek, you are back on the clock. You have about 7,600 per pick left. Where are you going to go with your 5th pick?
Yeah, this is tough because now you're starting to think of, okay, I picked this guy. What else do I have left for my next pick? I'm like, I resisted Patrick Cantlay once. I probably wouldn't have been able to the second time around. So I'm glad you took that away from me. I'm going to go Shane Lowry. I wish he probably is a better pick if the wind was going to be up. Like the wind looks like there's going to be nothing this week. It's going to be an interesting Open Championship. But still, we got the Lynx experience, Open Championship experience. He won one of them. And he's been very hit or miss, which does worry me. But the approach play is always good. So just avoid those pot bunkers, Shane.
My question for you will be, obviously the wind and weather can change, hourly, over there, and we got to keep our eyes on it. Are you factoring that in at all to your models and how you're picking golfers, even though right now it's not showing too much wind and the weather looks relatively safe, for lack of a better word? But are you factoring in that could change at any moment, and you got to put your lineups in on Thursday, and by Friday afternoon it could be wild winds? So, or are you just kind of saying I'm taking what I see now and living with the results?
Yeah, I'll obviously monitor it all the way up until lock, but in my experience, I've gotten the weather wrong 90% of the time. Like if it looks like there's an edge one way or another, it ends up being the opposite of what I think. But the fact that there's just like less than 10 mile per hour wind all 4 days is really interesting. So I'm not factoring it in at the moment, but I will be monitoring it.
And this is a general question for everyone in the draft right now, because it's really unique. And I think, what are they teeing off at 1:30 a.m. Eastern time? So at our time, will any of you either stay up or set an alarm to get up before just to check if there's any updates, if there's any withdrawals, if there's a weather update before 1:30, or are you going to bed your normal time and living with whatever happens from there?
I'll probably be up. I'm sure the newborn will keep me up, and I'll have an excuse, right? I'll be like, yo, listen, she's crying. I'll take care of her. Tell my wife, you go to bed. Just let me sleep in the morning.
Unless there's a big withdrawal, and then it's like, no, you got to take the baby. I got to fix my lineup. We got an issue. Computer. Oh, I love it. All right, Ryan, you're up here with your fifth. You got about 9K left. So what's interesting here is now it is starting to average out, Spence, in Charlie, Ryan, and Brad are living in pretty close to the same salary range, competing over what should be some similar golfers for their last few picks. So with your fifth pick here, Ryan, who are you targeting?
Yeah, Charlie and I got to be dancing around some of the same stuff, trying to do some of the math here and figure out what makes sense. Can we be, flat and kind of hang around that 9K range? I think there's some interesting names on the board, but some of the ones that, how much salary do you want to leave? And are you sure to get someone back? It gets a little bit dicey, but it's worked out. Looking at shopping around, I'm not convinced. I'm going to need a little time on the second pick. I'm going to take Rory McIlroy. Still make it work. So give me Rory. He's just kind of opted out of Saturday morning, which is a real bummer because I was on Rory last week. I thought it was a really nice number and played some great golf, pretty much other than that little 9-hole stretch there on Saturday. So, good price, fell in the draft. Let's see how it happens here.
This is the beauty of King of the Draft. Rory McIlroy, who could have been the first pick of the draft, goes in the second to last round and is clearly a steal from Brad, who looks heavily disappointed that he was just taken. But Brad had enough money to
roster
take
to get Rory at this point. But I couldn't take Rory too early because if my Tom Kim, I have another guy in the Tom Kim range I like. If that didn't work, then the math didn't work, and I was like, really bargain shopping. Man, this is wow. Okay, that messes up both of my picks there. All right.
Sorry, Brad.
Wow. God, I love snake drafts, don't you?
Well, what I find to be really interesting, while we give Brad a minute to refigure how he's going to end his draft with his last two picks here, I find it pretty interesting that Scotty Scheffler is going to go undrafted in this draft. So best player in the world.
Potentially. I mean, I guess Brad, I think Brad could probably still.
I'm not taking Scotty.
With the 5K range, I guess can he? No, he still might not be able to because he's 13-3,
Still don't think he can get it. Yeah.
I don't think he can.
All right,
I'm screwed too.
Man, that really changed things. Okay, we'll just go back to Plan B. All right, I am going to do this, and I know I'm going to regret it. I'm gonna go Xander. It's my safe play. Xander plays well in majors. Do I think Xander's going to win? I wanted everyone who I thought had a chance to win. I don't think so, but I think Xander's going to be comfortable in that like T8 to T13 range. So I felt that was a fine pick. And then last but certainly not least, I'm going Mr. Sam Burns. Leaving some money on the table. Don't mind it. Sam Burns, man, dude's playing really good golf. I hope he's not distracted by the arrival of the new baby. But if he continues to play the way he's going to play, he's going to win a major soon, and he's going to win a tournament again soon. That's what it feels like, right? Like he's putting himself in contention. Just got to play a little bit better down the stretch.
Brad, as someone who also has a new baby, how much do you think this will actually affect his game? Because I can say of what I've seen following you on X, it has not affected your soccer picks because those have been on point. So your new baby has been good. Will it affect Sam Burns' ability to hit a golf ball?
I don't think it'll affect him that much. I do downrate him a little bit because, like, even though Sam Burns probably has like all the help in the world, when you have a new child, there's like this little thought in your head while you're sleeping, like, is the baby okay? And you're not getting the best sleep. Like, my wife has been a rock star, for World Cup. I still have World Cup and PGA Tour stuff that I'm doing. She has taken a lot of the weight off my shoulders to still kind of crush the stuff that we're doing. And even then, I'm still tired, right? Because you still have your dad responsibility. So I do downgrade him a little bit, but all I need is like a T6, right? T6 at this price for not getting Rory makes me really happy.
Well, I'm with you. I love Burns this week. I'm definitely be playing him. I hope it's not a discount because I'm going to lose some money if it is. But the way he's been playing, I think Sam Burns is a great pick at 7,800.
I'm going to ask this question before we move across in the draft, since Scotty is now a name that was not selected by anybody in this draft. Just simple yes, no. I'll go across the bottom row line here that I seem to have been removed from for whatever reason, Joel. I don't know how that keeps happening, but we'll start with you, Noto. Yes or no? Are you playing Scotty Scheffler this week?
I'm not building a ton of lineups, so no.
Ryan?
Yeah, same. Not a lot of volume, but it doesn't fit for me this week.
Joel?
I'm not playing him.
Brad?
Oh man,
Charlie?
So every no means he's gonna win, right, guys?
Yeah, he's definitely gonna win.
I'm playing Scotty. I like Scotty this week. I'm not trying to be contrarian there. I think it's really easy to build. Like, for me, the proper start, it kind of puts me in this range where I can find you can take any of the 10,000 names. You can fall down into the 9,000s also, but like Fleetwood, Fitzpatrick, Scotty, I just feel like it's so easy to build around those options. And then there's the Siwoos in the 6s and all those names. You have major champions like JJ Spawn down there. There's just a lot that I feel like I can fit into it. So I'm going to play him. It's not uncommon that I kind of go the other way sometimes in these spots, but look, that's what makes fantasy golf exciting. It's what makes a contest like this unique. At the end of the day, everybody has their own opinion. And for you, Ryan, as we get your last pick right now, you've started with this draft. I talked about it at the very beginning with the HH. You then went RR with Rose and Reed. McIlroy, are we going to end it with an M name here, or are we going somewhere else?
Yeah, we started with our threesome that's playing together, and then the vibes got bad in the locker room because we brought Patrick Reed and Rory in together. So we need someone to maybe kind of police things in case things go sideways a little bit. And I'm trying to figure out who the best person for that is. It gets a little tricky. So I'm trying to look at some of my better 59 to 6K guys. I'm going to go with Nick Taylor, 5,900. He's actually, had a couple decent, T10 at the Open Championship in 2024. Gains 2.3 strokes putting per round at last year's Open Championship. So seems to like these fescue greens. He's such a weird guy. Like, he just literally just insane win equity will like hunt you down, Tommy and Scotty, and like it doesn't matter, or just no shows for a large chunk of time. So it's back and forth between a couple of guys here, like a Bud Cauley and Nick Taylor. But Nick Taylor's going to get the call here. So I think, Canadian, nice guy, keep the vibes down. He'll keep Patrick and Rory separated, and then we'll just keep it going.
Yeah, boomer bust pick, but some of the upside numbers in my model from a statistical perspective liked him also. I understand that we have 3 straight missed cuts at an Open, but he ended up climbing into the top 40 for me from an upside grade. The safety doesn't look quite as clean, but I'm going to play him this week too. I think it's somebody that I have him at less than 5% ownership right now. I think you can kind of shoot for the moon with him and hope for the best. And look at the lineup that you've put together. You have a lot of upside here. And I said it at the beginning. I think everybody's done a really good job with their builds, and soft pricing across has kind of allowed some super teams to form. And as I ask you this question, Derek, before you give us the answer, I talked to Ryan about what he has going at Bet Spurts. I'd love to hear about what you have going at Roto Grinders. You do produce one of the best models in the entire space. Tell us about the model. Tell us about Roto Grinders. Tell us about everything you have going on.
Yeah, appreciate it. Just started doing some simulations this past couple of weeks. So I post those on Twitter each and every week at RG_Notorious if you want to check those out. Then all my work can be found either at Roto Grinders or Action Network. Premium members can download the model. We've got an expert survey. We've got rankings. We've got, my favorite optimizer in the business. You can build 150 lineups at a time, any type of, setting. Optimizer, whether you want to leave salary on the table, build groups, build by tea time stacks, whatever you want, you can do. Catch me at Roto Grinders, and excited. I'm hoping to work with Brad and Charlie in the future because it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's like I said at the beginning, this is what I really wanted from this show, is to bring people together. And, Charlie talked about that he just does the stuff for Action Network now. Like, Charlie's as good on camera as anybody I've ever been with. Like I said, I really used to enjoy those shows. Brad and I have been able to do a couple of things. I did his show. When was that, Brad? I've lost track of time. Earlier this year, last year?
Last year.
Yeah, and you put together a great show. Everybody knows the stuff that Ryan has going on with Bet Spurts and the rabbit hole. And, it means a lot to me for all of us to be able to come together in something like this, talk about golf, but also do it in a competitive way to where we can all compete. And I'm a competitive person, which maybe for me, I shouldn't put myself in these contests because, as Joel knows, I did not take the loss very well. I complained about it for an entire week, but all of you still have a chance right now. Derek, you're going to have one more pick to be able to try to figure out what the optimal is for you with 7,300 left. Who are you going to take with this pick?
I absolutely hate what I've left myself with. The model says to go JJ Spawn, but man, he's not a links guy. I could go Hideki. He's probably good for a made cut, but what's the fun in that? Give me Jordan Spieth. Give me the defending champ. He's been terrible, but maybe he can play off some good vibes here.
Any thoughts on that pick, Charlie? I mean, Noto just talked about Jordan Spieth being the last one who won here. This is a fun fact that's not very fun for me. Like, outrights are very tough to hit. We all know that in this space. I had Matt Kuchar in 2017 against Jordan Spieth, and the one thing I remember about this tournament when Jordan Spieth put it together, like, everybody's going to remember, like, he put himself into nowhere to the right. He hits it on the green. He makes the putt. He tells Greller to go get it. All I remember is him just making birdie after birdie after birdie as Matt Kuchar continued to play good golf there on the back nine. And I had Matt Kuchar as a triple-digit bet there that did not come to fruition because of Jordan Spieth. And I had a big ticket at Chambers Bay on Dustin Johnson that did not come to fruition because of Jordan Spieth. So Jordan Spieth seems to be my kryptonite that I can't seem to get right. I am not on Jordan Spieth this week. That is not a shocker to anybody. I always seem to not be on him. Charlie, thoughts on Jordan Spieth this week? Maybe you can talk some point of reason that I'm not going to be able to give.
Hey, listen, anytime I try to bet on Jordan Spieth, it's an absolute electric time watching him, but it's also the most miserable time you could imagine as well because of how inaccurate he is. But I honestly don't hate the play for Noto there. Like, if you're going to spend your money, you might as well get some entertainment out of it. And Spieth has that high upside, as we know from the history. He can win it. And I'm not going to be putting money on Jordan Spieth. I've learned that lesson the hard way. But I've had my fair share of second place finishes, just not usually at the hands of Jordan Spieth this year. Well, obviously not this year because he hasn't won. But I feel your pain with having PTSD from certain golfers.
Well, it's probably a lock because I did bet Justin Thomas in a matchup very early on Monday against Jordan Spieth. So if history serves itself, Jordan Spieth is either winning this golf tournament if Justin Thomas is up there on the board, or expect just a terrible implosion for Justin Thomas to occur for Jordan Spieth to win that, because I think I'm 0 for 100 trying to take him on. But you talked about money that is to spend. You have 8,900 left to spend. Who is that going towards?
This is going to be fascinating. What are we doing, Charlie? Because look at the board.
I shot myself in the foot. I should have gone Minwoo Lee over Cantlay and had the extra $100 to buy Scam Young. And instead, if you look at the board, Morikawa taken, Goddard taken, Bryson. I can't do that to myself. even with my live guys. Hovland taken, Bobby Mack taken, Lowry taken, Burns taken, Henley taken. So I'm around the Koepka, Thomas, Spieth, what was Spieth, and Matsuyama area. I'll go with Justin Thomas. Purely out of the sake that he won me last year money, and I have absolutely no idea what to do with my last pick because I've shot myself in the foot very hard here. And that's what happens when you gamble on sports and don't play DFS as often as the rest of y'all. But I don't know. I 1,400 left to spend. I guess no one's going to be having the same lineup that I'm putting together at all. So if it clicks, maybe I can win some money.
Well, I think it's a fair question. Before we wrap this draft up, how much money? And we'll go around for each person. Is everyone willing to leave on the table this week at the Open with the salaries? Is that a lot? Is there a certain number or cutoff that you have when you're building lineups this week? Let's start with you here, Derek.
Yeah, I have a serious problem with leaving money on the table. When I hand build lineups, I'm testing out every single combination to use as much as possible. It's a curse. But that's why the optimizer is great. I can just set it to leave at least 500 on the table in large field stuff, and then it just runs. But yeah, single entry stuff, I just can't not. I'm like, oh, I got 300. I got to be able to find a better combo than what I have. It's bad. So yeah, the answer, small field, I'll probably spend most, if not all, the salary, and then large field, the optimizer is going to help me, and I'll leave at least 400.
Boom. How about you, Ryan?
Yeah, to Derek's point, I think it is definitely based on the contest style you're playing in. I think that matters a ton. Obviously you want to make sure you're as unique as possible, especially in some of those bigger field things. But yeah, I mean, a couple $100. I'm just like Derek. It's like I'll mix around. I hate leaving too much. It feels weird. But try to trust the combination of the optimizer, or my own projections and kind of go from there. But we should try to do a better job than what we did here. And I think we did a pretty good job of getting to the cap here, even on our non-hand build snake drafts. But yeah, you should probably default to leaving a couple $100 out there for sure.
See, and that's why I ended up picking Spieth, because I couldn't leave so much. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, it's good for Charlie. I thought we were definitely going to get Bryson because he was clearly the next highest on the board. So
I couldn't do it.
What about you, Brad?
I'm really bad at leaving too much money on the table, but a couple hundreds, like realistically the most I want to leave on the table. But sometimes I'm just so stubborn. I'm like, this is my optimal, right? Like I don't care what's left behind. So it's funny.
And Charlie, I know obviously your hands were tied here. You didn't have too many options in the draft. There weren't in the draft format, and you had all your options. What would you
I would have taken Goddard up and left 400 on the table. If I could have taken Goddard up and added him for Justin Thomas, that's like similar to my pre-game build that I had entering this, where I was like, all right, I'm going to get Hatton and Goddard up on the wraparound. So yeah, like in that 400 to 600 range, if possible. But obviously, when it's live and everyone's smart on here, you're not going to be able to get what you expect.
What about you, Spence? What are you doing this week with leaving money on the table?
I always think major championship pricing, and we talk about it every single major. It's not some unknown commodity in the space, but pricing is so soft. I trust my numbers at the end of the day. I am willing to leave more money on the table if I think it's the optimal route to go. Like I don't, and it's contest dependent, as everybody has said. I think for cash games and single entry, you kind of want to place things a little bit closer to the vest with it. But in large field contests, like Charlie's lineup in particular, like I don't mind leaving that much money on the table. For me in particular, like Justin Thomas should be $1,000 more expensive. I would rather play him than Bryson DeChambeau. Like you could flip their price, and I don't think anybody would really necessarily bat an eye at that being the return there. And maybe I'm a little bit higher on Justin Thomas, and this is not necessarily the best example to show with it. But the point remains that if you have a conviction one way or another, like that's kind of where I'm going to lean. So I'm always willing to leave a little bit more on the table. It doesn't mean I'm actively searching, trying to find a way of how do I leave $3,000 to make my lineup unique. But I think you can very efficiently do a lineup the way that Charlie did, where Hatton, Rom, Neiman, Cantlay, Clark, Thomas. Like, does that sound like a lineup that left $1,400 on the table? No, and you can't do it on most weeks, but in a major championship, it's very simple to be able to leave a lot on the table just because of how soft the pricing is going to be.
And I would say I probably have a pretty similar answer to you, Spencer. The one big difference that I would say is I actually I look to leave 400, 500, 600 on the table because I think it almost guarantees you some uniqueness by doing so. Obviously, I want to play the best players. If it works out that my best players are that, I'm not doing it. But if it works out where I have a lineup that I really like and it leaves 500, 600 on the table, I actually like that. I'm like, all right, good. It's probably less likely to get duplicated. And especially if it's got some chalkier, golfers in it, then it helps you kind of feel a little bit better about it. So that's a wrap for the draft. This is a really competitive draft. I'm having a hard time picking which team is going to win. Before we get everyone out of here, smash the like button. Give us a follow. It goes a long way. Let us know who you think is going to come out of this draft on top. At first glance, looking at it here, Spence, who are you taking?
I'll run numbers for this. It's something that I've been doing every single week. I don't know what Jordan Spieth is going to do to Noto's lineup for me. Like the double Fitzpatrick, Fleetwood, Siwoo Kim, that's 4 of my optimal there. This is very, very competitive. I don't know what my math is going to say. I don't even necessarily have a team. Like I wouldn't say it on air, even if we did have one that I like less than everybody else. But I honestly think that these 4 teams are hyper competitive with one another. And it just goes back to what we said at the beginning of the show, Joel. This was a very difficult group that got put together. It's bound to happen when you have a lot of sharp people in the space, but this group in particular, you really see it with these lineups. I assume when I run my projections and my simulations, I don't know that anybody is going to be higher than minus 110 or 115 to advance. I kind of feel like everybody's going to be in the same general range, mixed on both sides of the spectrum there. So credit to everybody who drafted tonight. Thank you to everybody who's tuned into the show. But that's the purpose of the show that I love about what we do is it makes unique lineups have to get formed, and it makes people have to think on their feet on the spot there. And when you invite smart people to be able to do so, you sometimes end up in a situation where Charlie ran himself into here, where he picked first. He had no option to be able to make a choice. It just went one after another as it waited for him. And I think Thomas is a great pick. Him and I can be on our own island with that, but it gives you differing viewpoints, and that's what I love about this show.
I love it. I agree. I think it's going to be a very competitive week. I will give a pick here. Brad, you have 4 guys that I'm playing in my main lineup, so I'm going to take Brad here. I'm hoping that I win and you win this week. But I wish you guys luck. The top 2 will advance, and we will crown a king of the draft by the Tour Championship. Before we get you all out of here, we want to hear your best bet of the week and let everyone know where they can find you. We will start with you, Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't an indication about my first pick, Hatton is going to be my favorite bet of the week. Outright, I like him even in the top 10 market as well. Going to be playing as much as I can get of him.
Tyrrell Hatton. I love it. All right, Brad, where can everyone find you, and what's your favorite bet of the week?
Yeah, you can find me on X at Mr. Brad Thomas or PGAtour.com. Have a couple articles a week on there as well. Favorite, you want outright or just any bet?
Any bet you want to give.
Tommy Fleetwood, top 20, round minus 110. Dude's a serial tryhard. The backdoor king. We already talked about the narrative there. 68% top 20 rate this season, 65% last season. I really just like the upside of top 20, like minus 110. I think it's probably closer to the 70% range than it is the 55.
Boom. There you have it. Ryan, Where can everyone find you, and what's your favorite bet of the week?
Ryan Noonan on X, at BetSports Golf, 4 for football fans. Football betting, we're football pods cranking up this week too, 4 times a week, getting ready for football Sundays are close, so we could feel it in our bones. So favorite bet, give me Justin Rose top 20 with ties, like plus 150. Again, it kind of highlighted big game hunting. Like he hasn't fallen out of that in any of the majors or the big signature events this year. I think it's a great spot for him. So love getting the plus 150. And always pay for ties. Nothing's more painful than handicapping well and getting that chop on a finishing position bet, man. I'll take the ties personally. The math probably isn't always check out for that, but peace of mind. I sleep pretty well.
All right. Derek, how about you? Favorite bet of the week, and where can we find you?
That peace of mind, it's worth it. I'm gonna go. I was gonna go Hatton outright. I bet him at 40-1. I think he's still available at 38-1 on DraftKings if anybody wants to get that. But since it's already been taken by Charlie, I'm gonna go Alex Fitzpatrick top 20 at plus 290. I just think if he would have made the cut last week, I think that number would be much smaller. Been playing great, so no reason to hop off now.
Boom. I love it. Spence, how about you? Favorite bet of the week, and where can we find you?
So I also bet Hatton. I got him at 40-1 myself. Look, I don't think this is my favorite bet. I gave my favorite bet earlier with Jeff Feinberg for anybody who wants to tune into his show. I think you were on it, right, Ryan?
I gave the Rose play. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you're going to get, I gave, this is in left field for anybody listening. I gave Jesper Svensson to make the cut at plus 125. But for the best bet on this, I don't think you can get it at the number that I talked about, but I'm doubling down. I'm tripling down. Tommy Fleetwood is going to become a major championship winner this week. He's going to win the Open Championship. I have him as the third favorite on the board. I still think some of the prices, if you shop around, maybe not at some of the sharper locations to where I've seen him pushed down into like the 13 or the 14-1 range, but there are some numbers out there that, according to my math at least, there's a little bit of value there. So I'm going to say Tommy Fleetwood wins this tournament. This is not one of those Sia Najat things of take out a mortgage and put all the money on it. But if we want to say that, take out the mortgage and put all the money on it.
If Tommy Fleetwood wins this week, I really hope Netflix has some cameras there, can follow it, and we can capture the whole thing, the whole camaraderie and the pageantry of the whole thing, because that would make it really fun. That's a story, right? That will be a documentary if he does. That'll be a lot of fun. My favorite bet of the week is also a Tommy, but it's not Fleetwood. I'm going with Tom Kim. I think he really likes this link style. Obviously, he looked great last week, but give me for him for top 20, which you can get at plus 210 right now over on some of these sports books, but especially on LEVR. Don't forget, go out to LEVR. LEVR has been sponsoring this tournament. We will have a huge cash prize for the winner thanks to LEVR. So get over there, find their lines, make your bets on LEVR. That is the best place you can find your golf bets this season. That is a wrap for tonight. Spence, did I forget anything?
No, and the one thing I will say to that is we will have a discussion of what that cash prize will look like. There is a comma included in it. And, I want to say thank you to the 4 of you guys for taking the time to do this show. It means a lot to me for you guys to join us here tonight. And I wish everybody the best of luck in this contest. And Joel and I, our goal is to turn this into a yearly endeavor. You guys are invited back during every iteration of this moving forward. And hopefully we can turn this into something to where we can make this mean something year in and year out. We're going to put together a sick championship belt that we're going to give to the winner also. So, thank you for everybody who's tuned into the show. Good luck to everybody out there who is betting on the Open Championship or playing